Righty, welcome back to Howson's Versus. Omar's coming! And if you don't know what that means, then you're too young to be watching this show and you need to diversify your film experiences because that is one of the best films that is out there. So sort your shit out. Anyways, Omar is coming. Omar Barada, that is. Why is he coming? Well, because we've agreed to deal with him to come. Now, Simon Jordan had a bit to say on this, as he does with everything, because that's kind of his job, innit? Is to waffle a load of old rhubarb about stuff. And he's kind of got a point for once.
Simon, it would appear, and Graeme, I'll get your take on this as well, off the field of play, the noisy neighbours are talking to each other again. Now we know the chief football operations officer at the City Football Group is to take over as the new Manchester United chief executive. He's a man by the name of Omar Barada. And he's understood to be on gardening leave from City after resigning. So he's going from one of the big clubs in Manchester to the other. And he's joining up in the Sir Jim Ratcliffe revolution, if you like. Is it a coup for United to entice someone from across the city?
Possibly. You have to look at the reasons why the fella's leaving. Work that backwards. And say, why would you leave supposedly the most dominant football club in the world right now, both on the field and off the field, in terms of economics and achievements? Is it because it still maintains the view that despite all these achievements, they're still Red Bull in comparison to Man United's Ferrari? Or is it something like my nose tells me that you leave things when you think there's a problem coming?
And you think that's the case? I mean,
surely
surely
a problem coming. They've got 115 charges being laid against them.
So, look, I think Simon Jordan is at least pulling on the right sort of thread here. Why has Omar joined Manchester United? Well, his role at Manchester City as head of operations of the football group is a different role than the one that he had at Manchester City. I did hear a whisper that they were lining him up to replace Soriano at Manchester City, which is a quite prominent job. So he was obviously well thought of at Manchester City, and it seemed to catch a lot of people by surprise. Are Manchester United a bigger club than Manchester City? Undoubtedly. We've spoken about this for a while now. If Manchester United win a title in the next couple of years, it will get bigger coverage, whether you agree with this or not. Factually, it will get bigger coverage and it'll be more impactful than when Manchester City just done the treble last summer. Now, I'm not saying that's right, I'm not saying that's wrong, I'm just saying that's the way it is. Because Manchester United create news. Honestly, no one really gave a toss about City winning the treble, and it was weird. I didn't really give a toss. I hate Manchester City, but I just wasn't, I was over it a little bit. And like Simon Jordan says, when you look at the reasons why he might be coming, one is Manchester United is a bigger club. And I accept that, and everyone watching this should accept that. If you're sitting there saying that's not the case, well, you're just fucking wrong, for starters. But two, this might be a guy that knows something is coming down the pipe. And there's been quite a few executives of left City in the last couple of months. Do they feel that maybe some of these titles are tainted? Who knows? But I think it's a coup. I think United are doing the right thing. We're looking around football, seeing who's doing the right stuff and trying to recruit them. And it seems so far, I mean, obviously this one came out of the blue. We won't know who else we approached and maybe got turned down from. Certainly not yet. But it looks like we're getting people in. So I'm all for it. Right, sticking with Simon Jordan for a second, and he's gone from talking sense to just getting absolute wibble and dribble all over the show. And he's brought Graeme Souness on, and on the thumbnail, they've called it Man United Special. Because that's what you think, innit, when you think of Rangers and Scotland and Liverpool legend Graeme Souness. Manchester United Special. Why? Everything that I just said in the piece above. Manchester United are bigger news than anybody else. Like it or lump it, especially when it comes to talkSPORT, they can't spend 5 minutes without talking about Manchester United. Alas, I digress. So what was the Manchester United Special starring Graeme Souness? Well, it was Paul Pogba. Paul Pogba that plays for Juventus. Well, he doesn't even play for Juventus, does he? Because he's been a naughty boy and he's currently sitting on the naughty step. So we start talking about Pogba. For starters, before we get into this, Graeme, did you walk in on him balls deep in your missus? Because this obsession is fucking weird, our kid, right? This obsession is getting quite close to Piers Morgan with Meghan Markle. And it might even eclipse what Piers Morgan's going to be like when Cristiano Ronaldo doesn't send him a Christmas card. Souness goes on to say he's an extremely talented young man. He's not that young anymore, he's like 30. He should be one of the best midfielders in the world, but he is lazy. With that physique and the technical ability, he just did not have the right attitude to make him a superstar. Wrong. He was a superstar. He was literally a world record signing. I think that quantifies you as a superstar. He says, I saw a young man that was going through the motions a lot of the time, and that frustrated me. He just didn't work hard enough. Okay, cool. So this is a young man that did win back-to-back titles at Juventus. And okay, you'd be fair if you said loads of people won back-to-back titles at Juventus. Okay, they did. But also he did. Also won the World Cup. Right? Don't think Graham's got one of those, has he? And for all of his put your medals on the table sort of thing, Paul Pogba's got a lot of medals, our kid. A lot of medals. I think the only one he's not got that you might have is the Champions League. So, honestly, have you tried therapy? Because this is a fucking weird little obsession you've got. Let it go. Let it go. And speaking of weird obsessions with Liverpool midfielders, I'm talking about Steven Gerrard. Right. What's going on with Steven Gerrard then? So, talkSPORT, honestly, this might as well just be Howson Versus talkSPORT, because this lot just provide me content and probably put me in the stress range for days. Steven Gerrard, the middle of all the talk about how shite he is as a manager, which is just pure facts, it's not opinion. Could you imagine talkSPORT ever doing this? Where they say, oh, Steven Gerrard, 145 wins. Is Steven Gerrard overly criticised? So I put him straight a little bit. He's got 20 of those wins outside of Rangers. That's it. His win percentage is in the 30% since leaving Rangers. Look how they try to frame this. Did you ever see them doing this sort of protectionism for Ten Hag when he went on the record-breaking runs of not losing at Old Trafford last season? Or the fact that he's got like more points than like Klopp and Arteta in his first whatever amount of games. You don't see that from talkSPORT. That's not the sort of narrative that they post. Yet as soon as someone says something nasty about, our Stevie G, they can't wait to jump to the fucking defence of him. And even the success that he had in Scotland, a lot of people thought was down to Michael Beale, who went to Rangers, eclipsed Steven Gerrard's record in terms of wins. He didn't win the league, but he's got like a 10% better win rate, which is significantly better with basically the same squad. Where is Steven Gerrard going to go? Because once you've ballsed it up in England and you nearly got Aston Villa relegated, and then Unai Emery came in when them lads are fine, leave it with me, and is literally challenging for Champions League with them now. You were challenging for the Championship with them. This guy's got them thinking about the theme tune for the Champions League next season. He's gone to Saudi Arabia, which a lot of people thought was a tap-in. They bought all of the players that he asked for, even bringing Liverpool's captain for him. He decides after 6 months, I tell you what, I fucking had enough. Let me go and see what the pancakes are saying in Amsterdam. What's going to happen next for Steven Gerrard? Being real, who's going to hire him? I can still see a weird one of him managing England, and I don't know why, but do you know what? If you do, fucking good luck with him. Right, look, there was another Gabby Agbonlahor one, but I don't want to make this the weekly Gabby Agbonlahor thing. I might just save them all up and just go turbo on him once a month, maybe. I don't know. And do you know what? I don't even listen to him. You lot are what helped me create this show by just tagging me and stuff. So here's what I want you to do. Anytime someone's chatting utter fucking wibble that needs calling out, tag me. Tag me on Instagram. Tag me on Twitter. Tag me, right? And we will put this lot to right. And even channels that I'm on, 5. I saw you all, right? Putting Campbell and all of them lot above Rio and Vidic. You're fucking wrong. And we'll get into that when I can be arsed, okay? Okay. See you in a bit.